Welcome to Coffee with Democrats, a sensible platform for progressive conversations. Coffee with Democrats is a grassroots movement dedicated to hearing from Democrats, candidates, legislators, and friends from all political backgrounds who want great conversations. Coffee with Democrats is committed to increase Democrat voter registration and Democrat voter turnout by making voting more exciting and meaningful. And now here's your host of Coffee with Democrats, Kevin Dawson.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Coffee Break on Coffee with Democrats. We have got a special guest today with us. This is Representative Cyndi Munson. She is the minority leader for the House of Representatives in Oklahoma. She is an amazing person, a friend of mine, somebody we had a wonderful time in Chicago. What is that song? We partied like it was 1999 when we were in Chicago.
We did.
We had such a wonderful time, and it's great seeing you this morning, Representative Munson. How are you doing?
Good morning. It's so great to be with you. I've got my coffee. I've got my campaign shirt on. I'm trying to get all the energy I need to take on the day of campaign events and, quite frankly, even legislative events. You know, when you're already elected and you're running for reelected, you're doing the job while reapplying for the job.
Well, let's talk more about what's going on in your part of the prairie and let you take over so we can talk more about that.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. It's good to be with you all. I am Cyndi Munson. I am the state representative for House District 85 in Oklahoma City. It also encompasses Nichols Hills and the Village. So if you've been to Oklahoma City, if you live in Oklahoma, you're familiar with the central part of our capital city. Penn Square Mall is probably the best landmark I can give for those who don't live in the Oklahoma City area. I think I grew up in Southwest Oklahoma. And if you grew up outside of Oklahoma City, most of us traveled to the city for the mall, and we always knew which mall we were talking about, and that was Penn Square Mall. It's such an honor to represent this area of our state. I am also the House Democratic leader, and so I have been incredibly busy, very demanding schedule this summer and early fall. I am not only running for re-election, but also doing everything I can to ensure that all of our incumbents who are up for re-election return back to the House of Representatives. And we are also challenging a few Republican seats across the state where we have great Democratic candidates running for office, some for the second time. I'm so grateful for their commitment to Democratic values, which we know are Oklahoma's values, and continuing to knock on doors and talk to voters and talk to folks across the state about what we would like to bring and what we do bring to the state capitol and how we would govern and take care of Oklahomans. So it's been very busy, but very exciting work. I'm so honored and so grateful to do it. It's a wonderful way to serve the state of Oklahoma that has invested so much into me as a person, especially as a young person, to allow me to do the work that I am today. And so I'm here to share a little bit about my own campaign. Sometimes I can get really caught up on the bigger picture because that's a lot of where my head is, but I also have to return back to the state capitol. I have to hang on to my seat in order to take care of others. And so I've been very busy knocking on.
Bear with us, friends.
Every February to really hear what's on the hearts and minds of those that I represent. And it gives me an opportunity to really connect with people and get outside of sort of the bubble, we call it the bubble of the state capitol, and really hear what everyday Oklahomans are talking about. So I've been busy doing that. I am in my 9th year. I am running for my 5th term. So in Oklahoma, we have 6 terms that we can run in the Oklahoma House, and we are term limited at 12 years. So I will be term limited in 2028. So I have this election cycle, and if I win and choose to run again, I have one more election cycle that I can run. I originally ran in 2014. That was my first race. So I started in 2013. Meaning, yes, I've been knocking doors for 11 years straight. I have had an opponent every election cycle. The Republicans refused to allow me to go unopposed, which is totally fine because I love being out there talking to folks, built great relationships with my constituents and my donors and people who have supported me in Oklahoma City, in House District 85, but really across the state and quite frankly, even across the country. And so while it's kept me busy, it's been really rewarding work. I didn't win in 2014. I was unsuccessful. I was challenging a pretty popular incumbent. And so we knew that was going to be an uphill battle for me, for any Democrat, really. But then a special election was called in 2015. Unfortunately, former Representative David Dank passed away. And that is what triggered a special election. And I won in 2015, becoming the first Democrat to win House District 85 in its history. This seat was held by former Governor Mary Fallin, former Attorney General Mike Hunter. So a lot of big Republican names who went on to hold statewide and congressional or federal offices. And I am the first Democrat to hold this seat. I'm also the first Asian American woman elected to the Oklahoma Legislature. And I certainly don't take either one of those responsibilities lightly, but especially being a young Asian American woman. Growing up, I was always interested in politics. I was always interested in getting involved and maybe someday running for office, even though I didn't have family or anyone in politics. I was really interested in it, but I didn't see anyone who looked like me, who had similar lived experience or background as me. And so being able to be that example to show young people, but especially young Asian American women, that they are capable of doing this work, that they are just as valuable, their voices are just as important to be in politics and to be involved. If nothing else, if not running for office, absolutely making sure that they vote and know that they have representation at the state capitol here in Oklahoma.
I'll give you just a break, just to kind of take another sip of coffee and get
Thank
everything
you.
ready to go again. But it's so wonderful to see and know that you're working so hard and so diligently. Bear with us, folks. This happens from time to time. We have some technical issues that come and go, so
Yes.
bear with us as this takes place. It just the nature of our technology and where we're at. So
And I'm
there's
actually trying to, oh, am I coming back? I'm trying
yeah.
to fix some of my internet and speaker issues. So give me 1 second here. I apologize.
Sure. So while she's doing that, I'm going to raise attention to the fact that she's got a very active need for her reelection campaign. She needs help, and she can't do this without both financial and volunteer help. So I've got it on the screen there for her Act Blue account. So I think you're back with us now, Cyndi. I'm going to turn it back over to you again.
Awesome. Thank you all for your patience. I think we're all used to this now, that all of us that do virtual anything, we're going to connect and disconnect and freeze and unfreeze. So thanks for your patience. Yes, as you know, as you all know, when it comes to campaigning, we've got to have resources. And so the necessary evil, although it's hard to say it's evil because it's just part of operating our campaigns. I have bills to pay and staff to take care of. And so oh, hi, Meg. You're welcome. Sorry, I saw a comment pop up. I got distracted.
I'm putting them
We
up
have,
there as they come in.
oh,
Yes.
I love it. Thank you, Kevin. That's really, I feel so encouraged. Thank you, Meg. We've got to have money and resources, financial resources to do the work that we do. And what we're doing, spending money on staff and mail pieces, walk cards. Uh-oh. This digital advertisement and things like that is all to communicate to voters, to let them know where I stand on particular issues, what my vision is for the state, and what I'm working on in the legislature. And so every dollar that you give is spent right here in Oklahoma. That's something we very much we pride ourselves on, that we spend our money, our dollars here in the state. We're employing people to do in critical campaign work, but we're also, making sure that those resources stay here so we can communicate to our voters. So regardless, a lot of people will say, oh, I can't give because I can't give a lot. Honestly, giving $10 goes much further than you think. And if you really need more inspiration to give, whether it's to me or other candidates, when we're out there knocking doors, especially in the heat, when we are doing the work that sometimes does feel like an uphill battle, a true challenge, when I see an Act Blue donation come through, regardless of the amount, it is a reminder, keep going. People believe in you, they see you, and they're willing to give their financial dollars, their financial support and their dollars to you to say, we've got your back. And so it means a lot regardless of amount. So just know that. There's quite a few things coming up. Like I said, or like we've mentioned, we're, a little over 40 days out from Election Day. And while there's a lot of excitement at the top of the ticket with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I can't express more how excited I am to have Kamala Harris be our future president of the United States. We have to have Democrats elected up and down the ballot. And we know, especially here in Oklahoma, how important it is to have a more balanced legislature, to have more Democrats elected when it comes to regaining our rights, when it comes to reproductive freedom, protecting our public schools, and creating an economy that really works for everybody and not just those at the top and the most wealthy. And so, coming out and supporting candidates, knocking on doors, volunteering really does go a long way. If you're in Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City, we do have a day of action coming up on October 5th. That's a Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. There's a link there where you can sign up to volunteer, and we check out who's on our volunteer list. We send out an email, and I'll post some information on my social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where you can sign up on a Mobilize link that will be available to you very soon. It's not there yet, but it will be available to you. You would come out and knock a turf with a partner. We try to put people in pairs so that somebody can drive the car and then somebody can get out and knock the doors. So if knocking doors isn't quite your thing, driving the car is a really important and helpful way to volunteer. It keeps us moving a little bit more quickly and more efficiently, and it's always nice to be with somebody else. I always have somebody with me when I'm out knocking doors, and you would be in front of people who have said they are interested in voting for me or that we know will likely vote for me. And so it's an opportunity really for you to get out and talk to voters who have similar values and care about the things that you care about. So it's really easy to do. So October 5th, we have a volunteer day coming up. So if you're interested and willing to do that, come out for a couple hours. We'll have treats and coffee and water for you and get you on your way to knock some doors.
Well, I've got another comment coming in from Mike O'Rourke. He's watching, and he wants to tell both of us thank you. And he's a fellow delegate that was in Chicago with us. And, talking about the excitement, I'm going to put my picture up there so we can have just a brief little conversation. Yeah. I am coming to you live from the Cleveland County Democrat headquarters. I do this every morning, Monday through Friday at the headquarters here in Cleveland County. We're located at 201, I believe it is 201 West Gray Street. Anyway, we are having a wonderful time. The lobby is full of people right now. We are every day about this time, and it's just like this all day long. People are coming and picking up Harris wall signs. They're picking up signs for all of our legislators that are in the area. We've got Jacob Rosecrans. We've got Jared Deck. We've got Annie Menz. Those are all signs that we're distributing from here, and we're taking donations. People are coming in and giving donations. It's been more exciting, more enthusiastic than any time I've ever had helping out here at the Cleveland County Democrat office. I haven't been here a long time. I've just been a couple of years, but oh my gosh, this has just been on fire, and people are just so excited to come and share. I was yesterday at a short time at a call of action up in Moore by a good friend of ours, Carol Aseo. She's a friend of yours, and they were up at a corner just selling signs, and people were stopping at the corner and buying signs right and left. Awesome. It was an amazing time. So I just, you were talking about enthusiasm of being a Democrat. I just thought I'd share that with you as well.
I am so glad you did. I could hear people in the background. I was wondering where you were. I was up there for a meeting in July to sit down with Representative Rosecrans and Representative Menz and with their campaign team and talk a little bit about strategy and what we're doing in Norman. And my goodness, there were so many people coming in and out, and they kept apologizing. We're so sorry for interrupting. We're like, no, we love the energy. We love the enthusiasm. We love saying hi, especially in Cleveland County and Norman, Oklahoma. We have great, great Democrats who are active and involved and have supported candidates across our state. And just to put a plug in, we are having a fundraiser for the Oklahoma House Democratic Campaign Committee, which is our political operation for the House Democrats. We're going to have Elaine Hobson is hosting an event on October 15th. So if you're in that area on that day and you want to come out and let's talk about what we're doing for House Democrats and get to know our members, Representative Rosecrans and Menz, who we are working really hard to ensure that they get back to the state capitol. They are two of our top protect seats. And so we'd love to have anybody and everybody who wants to come out and support them and support our work in getting more Democrats elected.
So let's talk a little bit more about before we can actually vote on November 5th, we've got to make sure that we have our registration is up to date. Didn't we just have a big purge that the governor was really bragging about just a couple of days ago?
Yes. And, here's the deal with the voter list maintenance. That is a regular occurrence. We are all aware of that. But the way that the governor, and thank you for elevating it that way, Kevin, the way he celebrated the fact that nearly 500,000 Oklahoma registered voters had been removed from the voter list in the past couple of years was really disturbing, especially as we are, less than 2 months away from a really important election, not just for the presidential, but right here in Oklahoma. And here's the deal, friends. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Democrats are gaining momentum. The Republicans see this. They see that we have an opportunity to flip seats. And quite frankly, I think there have been times with Republicans too, but I think even with Democrats, maybe feeling like, who's out there representing my values? Do we even have a Democrat candidate running for state Senate, state House, or whatever position that is a partisan election? And the answer this year is yes. And so you've got to get on to, I see Kevin has iwillvote.com here listed. Get on there and check your voter registration. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure, my fear is, the Republicans like to, use this rhetoric and language around quote unquote dead people voting or illegal immigrants vote, or undocumented folks voting. And that's just not true. But what does happen is that if you aren't voting regularly, if maybe you vote every 4 years in a presidential election, that you may not have your information up to date. You may not be aware of your polling location changing, especially with redistricting after 2020. So get on iwillvote.com. You can also you can Google OK Voter Portal, which will show your polling location, and you can check to make sure that your voter registration is up to date. You can also request an absentee ballot there if you're going to be gone on November 5th, or even not. In Oklahoma, we have a no excuse absentee process. You can vote by mail if that's just the way you choose to vote, which is how I vote. Just allows me to have some more flexibility around sitting down with my ballot before election day. I'm very busy on election day. I stay out there knocking doors and I do a lot of media. And so I like to get my vote in early. So make sure you check that. That's really important. You have until October 11th to register for the November 5th election here in Oklahoma. So I'd say get it done by October 10th. Give yourself a day. Give yourself a little wiggle room to make sure you get that done. Your vote matters. It counts. And we really need you voting on November 5th.
And just to build on what you just talked about, mail-in voting. Folks, I had COVID during the October 22nd election day when we were doing the primary, the second primary. I had COVID and I couldn't go into the election office and vote that day. I chose not to. I didn't want to infect anybody else. So because of that, I'm now making sure that I have my voter registration set so that it will send me a ballot, so that if I do get sick and I don't need to be at the ballot office. And again, we're having a resurgence of COVID. This is the fall. This is the time where kids get sick with the respiratory diseases and respiratory illnesses that, we just don't want to spread to everybody else. So if you have that in hand, it's easy. Get it filled out, get it notarized, and get it in the mail. Just follow the notes. It's not that difficult, but man, it is so awesome to see you again.
It's
Leader
so
Munson.
great to see you. Yes.
You're such a great friend and such a great supporter. And I really appreciate everything you have. And of course, I live in Oklahoma, so I will endorse Representative Munson. She is somebody that we really appreciate. She's been an outstanding leader, and I really want everybody to continue to come out and fight for her campaign and to help her, because just because she's a leader doesn't mean that she can't be upset. We've seen it already on the Republican side where they've been upset and they've lost their Speaker of the House this next year. So they're going to have somebody else. And I think even on the Senate side, some of their leadership was upset. So don't let this go. We can't take it for granted. This is like a race. We have to go all the way through the finish line. We can't stop short, even on Cyndi Munson's race. So get out and vote and be prepared. Man, it's great to see you again. And thanks for coming and participating. And for everybody watching, thank you for joining us on Coffee Break with Coffee with Democrats. We appreciate you as well as the people who are coming on and for you to watch. So until tomorrow, everybody, thank you for joining us, and please be safe.
Thank you.